Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, Chairman of Bursa Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Syed Zaid Alba, Executive Chairman of the Securities Commission Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Muhammad Omar Swift, Chief Executive Officer of Bursa Malaysia. Tan Sri Azlan, Datuk Sri Amrin, other leaders of corporate Malaysia, captains of industries, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. First and foremost, allow me to express my gratitude to Bursa Malaysia for the honor of officiating today's launch of the PLC transformation program. I first gave a glimpse of this in my keynote address at Invest Malaysia last October, when I shared that Bursa Malaysia will be developing and issuing 5 guidebooks which aim to guide public listed companies or PLCs in delivering better performance not only to their shareholders but also to other stakeholders. Since then, the first digital guidebook on creating purpose and performance-driven PLCs has been developed, which will be available beginning today. The launch of the PLC transformation program is timely, given the current operating landscape. Thematically, it complements the government and MOF's wider agenda of recovery and reform. Allow me to briefly touch on both these aspects and their developments this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, global growth rebounded to 5.5% in 2021, the strongest post-recession pace in over 80 years, with many encouraging global economic developments. Output in many countries, including Malaysia, recovered in 2021. Many advanced and middle-income economies have achieved substantial vaccination rates. International trade has picked up, and high commodity prices have been a boon for many commodity exporting countries. For Malaysia, the Malaysian economy rebounded 3.1% in 2021. This is in line with the wider region. This uplift was on the back of the easing of containment measures, recovery in the labour market, timely fiscal support, and strong external demand. Moving forward, the Malaysian economy is expected to improve to between 5.5% and 6.5% in 2022, supported by the recovery of demand, both globally and domestically, improvements in the labour market, and higher private investment. Thus far, we continue to see the green shoots of economic recovery, supported by various factors, including vaccination, where as at end of February, nearly 80% of the population, or 98% of adults, were fully vaccinated, allowing almost all economic and social activities to resume. In addition, we have successfully administered over 14 million booster doses to nearly 45% of the population. Further, in managing COVID-19, the government is committed to progressing towards an endemic state. Despite the recent increase in the number of cases, ICU occupancy has remained manageable, indicating that the public health system is not under strain. Thirdly, the labour market continued to recover, with unemployment improving to 4.2% in December 2021, from a peak of 5.3% in May 2020. The unemployment rate is forecasted to improve further to under 4% by end of 2022. On the investment front, net FDI registered nearly 55 billion ringgit in 2021, higher than the pre-pandemic levels, specifically from the period from 2017 to 2019. And fifthly, global trade is also forecasted to grow 6% in 2022. For Malaysia in particular, our entry as the newest member of the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, beginning later this month, to be exact 18th of March, is expected to increase export revenues by 44 billion ringgit a year. Even in the local capital markets, we have seen that the FBM KLCR index returning to its pre-pandemic levels. As of end of February 2022, the index continued to hold on to its gains at 1,608 points. And strong foreign investor demand in the local debt capital markets, with inflows exceeding 33 billion ringgit in 2021 and nearly 3.5 billion ringgit as at end of January this year. These developments will be complemented by continued policy support from the government, including those under Budget 2022, which at 332.1 billion ringgit will ensure the recovery momentum is maintained, economic scarring is minimized, and the economy returns to its medium-term growth trajectory. However, these encouraging prospects are not without their risks. In fact, global recovery is set to decelerate in 2022, reflecting lingering uncertainties due to the COVID-19 flare-ups, protracted supply bottlenecks, and the recent Russia-Ukraine conflict. For many emerging markets and developing economies, prospects of the Federal Reserve's tightening monetary policy with interest rate hikes, which are expected to be announced as early as this month, as well as China's slowing economy, will further weigh down on growth. Having done our utmost to ensure our people and businesses remain afloat in the past 2 years, the next crucial question is, how do we resume, or how do we ensure not only swift recovery of our economy, but also its resilience against future shocks? This is where the case for structural reforms is no longer a nice to have, but an absolute necessity. Ladies and gentlemen, beyond just being a year for recovery, 2022 also provides strong impetus for reform. Globally, macroeconomic imbalances, be it in government spending, deficits, or debt, have reached unprecedented levels. The world is facing growing income inequality across and within countries. Locally, there is a pressing need to address Malaysia's long-term growth drivers like talent development, as well as larger threats like climate change and the widening of the income-wealth gaps. For corporate Malaysia in particular, there is an urgent need to address diminishing corporate performance and strengthen its growth and resilience premised on ESG and the UN's SDGs. In short, vital to the nation's agenda of reform are Malaysia's public listed companies, a majority of which are major drivers of our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, today there are over 950 diversified companies across numerous economic sectors that are listed on Bursa Malaysia. Transforming these companies will be vital in the long-term agenda of recovery and reform, which in turn will benefit many, both directly and indirectly. For our government-linked companies, our GLCs, more resilient PLCs will perform better and provide higher returns, which in turn will benefit our rakyat, who are unit holders of funds invested in these PLCs. For example, many GLICs who facilitate the retirement savings for 16 million Malaysians are also investors in many PLCs on Bursa Malaysia. As such, performance-driven PLCs are vital to ensure the sufficiency of their members' savings for retirement. Stronger PLCs will also support employment within the PLC ecosystem. Currently, an estimated 1.1 million people are directly employed by PLCs in Malaysia, with millions more employed in the PLC's subsidiaries and supply chain. Moreover, when PLCs grow, like the rising tide that lifts all boats, they also contribute to the growth of SMEs and companies in their supply chains, be it through new processes or higher standards of delivery. Hence, Malaysia's PLCs are pivotal in driving Malaysia's post-pandemic recovery and growth. To this end, as many of the PLCs are in a position to take full advantage of the global growth, they can help accelerate post-pandemic recovery and be the catalyst for reforms domestically. This is the genesis of the PLC transformation program, to catalyze performance, to catalyze growth in PLCs and the companies within their ecosystem, as well as align them to the latest global trends, investor demands, and stakeholders' expectations. True to 2025 and anchored on 5 digital guidebooks, the PLC transformation program will nurture purpose and performance-driven PLCs, cultivate a greater sense of transparency embed sustainability practices, enhance stakeholder management and investor relations, encourage digital adoption, and drive robust talent development to strengthen nation building. Ultimately, the program will enhance the corporate performance of Malaysia's PLCs, thereby creating a more attractive marketplace for domestic and foreign investors alike. While the program is targeted for public listed companies, lessons from the digital guidebooks can be applied to the wider SME community. For instance, Book 1's focus areas span financial and non-financial performance measures, risk management, and market strategy, areas relevant to both listed and non-listed companies. Thus, I encourage the wider SME community to take full advantage of the program and resources available. As part of the program, I was made to understand that there will also be opportunities for industry champions or consulting firms to share their expertise to drive adoption of leading best practices. Complementing the PLC transformation program are ongoing efforts by the government to reform and optimize the GLICs. Given their role as unique drivers of the Malaysian growth story, with over 445 billion ringgit in assets under management on Bursa Malaysia today, efforts remain underway to sharpen the focus of our GLICs for further success, particularly in helping them to venture into high-value new growth sectors. Eventually, these new areas will also open up fresh opportunities for PLCs and SMEs to partake in. The PLC transformation program will also be complemented by measures under Budget 2022. For example, the pillar to growth as sustainable, social responsible, and ethical organizations is enabled by measures under the third focus of Budget 2022. This includes the establishment of our voluntary carbon market by Bursa Malaysia and a 1 billion ringgit matching grant to help companies transition towards low carbon operations. The key pillar of being digitally enabled, this is in Book 4, will go hand in hand with initiatives to improve our nationwide digital connective initiative. Jendela, valued at 700 million ringgit for now, and efforts by My Digital Corporation to digitize the public sector. Furthermore, the key pillar of nation building in Book 5 will go hand in hand with the government's efforts under Jamin Kerja Keluarga Malaysia to create 600,000 job opportunities, as well as upskill and reskill talent spanning 220,000 training placements. This is valued at about 1.1 billion ringgit throughout 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia's recovery and reform efforts will demand nothing short of a whole industry and a whole of nation approach. This success can be more easily achieved if corporate Malaysia rises to the occasion. Therefore, I call on all stakeholders, the business community, investors, analysts, media, to support the transformation of our PLCs and SMEs. Therein, I'm pleased to know that a number of the large PLCs and GLICs have expressed their support to participate in or champion the PLC transformation program. I'm confident that more PLCs will come on board in the coming months as more engagement opportunities kick off after today's launch. Together, and with sustained effort, I'm certain the program will enhance the corporate performance of Malaysia's PLC and catalyze reform, drive sustainability, and contribute to our collective goal of a prosperous, inclusive, and sustainable Malaysia. On that note, allow me to thank and congratulate Bursa Malaysia for organizing today's event and for spearheading the PLC transformation program, which will shape our capital markets for years to come. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Senator Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul, for your impactful keynote address. YB, if you could please remain on stage for the next agenda item. That is the official launch of the PLC transformation program. With this, we'd like to invite onto the stage Yang Berbahagia Datuk Umar, Chief Executive Officer of Bursa Malaysia, to join Yang Berhormat Senator Tengku Zafrul for the launch of the PLC Transformation Program and Guidebook 1, Creating Purpose and Performance-Driven PLCs. Ladies and gentlemen, to officiate the PLC Transformation Program and to launch Guidebook 1, Both Yang Berhormat Senator Tengku Zafrul and Datuk Omar will be invited to perform a swipe motion from left to right against the LED screen. Gentlemen, on my count, if you please, and counting down from 3, 2, 1, swipe. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, for the launch of the PLC Transformation Program. May we invite Yang Berbahagia Datuk Umar Swift to present a token of appreciation to Yang Berhormat Tengku Zafrul for gracing today's PLC Transformation launch. Thank you, Yang Berhormat Tengku Zafrul and Datuk Umar. In commemoration of today's launch, please allow me to call upon the following honoured guests to come up onto the stage and join Yang Berhormat Tengku Zafrul and Datuk Umar for a group photograph. Dipersilakan Yang Berbahagia Datuk Syed Zaid Alba, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Muhammad Azlan Hashim, and Yang Berbahagia Datuk Sri Amrin Awaluddin to the stage. Gentlemen, take your positions and don't forget to face the camera.